Branding is a really important aspect of any content creator or freelancer's business. One of the main ways you can display unique branding in your business is to create physical or digital stationery. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can create a branded invoice for your business, and hopefully this video will be helpful for you. But for those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Kaylee and I'm a beauty and fashion photographer based near Sydney, Australia. But I'm also a content creator, and I started this channel a few years ago to talk about all things business, social media, freelancing, and content creation. And as I mentioned, I'll be showing you today how you can create a branded invoice for your business, so let's get into it. So in today's video, I'm going to be utilizing Picsart, who also happen to be this video sponsor. For those of you who are new to Picsart, Picsart is an online design platform created for simplicity and ease of use. You can pretty much design anything through Picsart, including invitations, business cards, media kits, planners, and more. But today we'll be exploring how you can utilize the countless templates and features that Picsart have to offer to create a branded invoice. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so we're now in the Picsart interface and we're going to jump straight into making an invoice. So the way you can do this is actually really easy. You can go up here to documents on the homepage and simply select the invoice option for a template. So if we go here to create design, and then you have a couple of options for templates that are best for this particular ratio. So for example, here, if I click on this invoice, it'll then show me a template that you can easily alter to really make your own in terms of branding. I actually think this one is so cute. And to be honest, I've been using other programs for my invoices for a while now, and I just feel like they're so not visual. Like, they don't have a really cute aspect to them at all. They're really boring. I feel like invoices are known for being really boring, but I think it's always nice to have a little bit more of a branded invoice because I just think it's a cute touch. And also, if you've already got branding throughout the rest of your business, it's a great way to just follow it on with an invoice as well. So I actually really like some of these templates that are here. And obviously you can create your own from scratch if you really want to in Picsart. It's pretty easy to do so and you can start from scratch. But in this particular instance, I actually really like this top one. I have seen this one before and it's very much my color scheme. I'm very much a vanilla girl and I have a lot of neutrals in my color schemes and that throughout my branding. So I think we're going to stick with this one and just use this particular invoice, sort of alter it to be our own as well. So there are a few things that are really important to have on an invoice, and I'm going to go through them really quickly just before we even get started with all the other aspects and the aesthetics of everything. So it's really important to have an invoice number, and this is really just for ordering purposes, to make sure that you're not doubling up on invoices, making sure that everyone's got their own unique number. And then if there's any issues with invoices for particular clients or brands, they can actually come back to you with the invoice number and you know exactly what invoice number that's going to be. And if you've got an automated system for invoices that you're using as well, it's just good to have that number there. So really important to be able to do that. Making sure that the date you're actually sending the invoice out to the client is written on the invoice. This is really important so you can keep track of how long it's been since the invoice has actually been sent. Obviously you're payable to, so that is going to be you and your brand. So you'll need to put your details basically underneath here in this particular section. So that's going to be really important because you need to get paid. It's your invoice. So it's really important to make sure that you've got your business address, contact details, so phone, email address, whatever you feel is necessary to put there in your contact details. That's really important too. And obviously who you're billing, so your client's details. And now this will usually be their address, the title name of their company. And then also another thing to add up in this top section under each of these things could also be a business number, which is quite often needed or required by clients as well. So usually I put my ABN under my contact details, which would be like my Australian business number. So this will be different depending on where you are in the world. And then a lot of the time the company that you're invoicing or brand you're invoicing will also provide their business number as well to put under their details too. Also, it's a really good idea to make sure your logo or your brand name is up the top here. It's just really recognizable and again works in with the aesthetics and making sure that it's very visual for people to look at so they know who they're paying and they can remember who they're paying. Now moving on to where you'd actually have the products that you're selling or services you're selling. Now here it's really important to have a description of the product or service you're selling. So making sure if, for example, this is a physical product, but if it's a service, be very detailed with what that service is in the description box and what exactly you are providing. You can break this down into several parts, even if it is a service. You can break this down into several things that you might be providing and make sure you've got a quantity column. So for example, if I was doing retouching as a service and I was doing a certain amount of images, I was charging per image, I might put a quantity of 5 in here, and then the price per image. So this is basically the price per unit that you would put in here, and then a total column. So that's the total amount, so the quantity times the unit price. Another important thing to add into your invoices is going to be taxes. So any taxes or shipping fees, anything like that if it's a physical product, but usually your taxes, for example, in Australia, we have GST. VAT, I think, is something that is usually added on in Europe, if I'm not mistaken. But another really important thing to make sure you're adding in there and making sure you know of the appropriate taxes for your country. And then obviously you've got your total amount due. So this is including taxes and any extra fees here. Now, also making sure that your currency type is also obvious here is really important because for me personally, when I'm working with brands, most of my work these days is actually done with international clients. So a lot of the time I am charging in US dollars. It's a bit more of an international currency rather than using the Australian dollar. So I need to make sure that that's very obvious when I am actually charging my clients or brands that I'm working with. I always make sure that I include that it's US dollars. And then some of the most important things to add to your invoice are going to be a due date. You need to have a due date on your invoice because you need to ensure that your client knows when they need to pay you by. This is usually going to be under your terms or the client's terms even. You need to make sure that's all figured out at the beginning when you're in those conversations about payment and when that's going to happen. So making sure you've got a due date on your invoice is very important. And then another super important thing on an invoice is going to be your payment details. So making sure that your payment details are on the invoice as well. I'm going to include some fake ones, obviously, on this particular invoice when I alter things in a minute, but definitely make sure you've got your bank transfer details or your PayPal details. However you get paid, just make sure that they're visible and really accessible for the client. One thing you can also do, which is actually listed on here, is put an image of things. So if you're selling physical products, this might actually be a good idea to make sure that people are really aware of what they're purchasing and what it actually is, especially if there's a few similar products. It's good to have an image to really memorize that properly. So that's basically what you need on an invoice, and that's quite a number of things, but it's very standard for most invoices to include all of those things that I just mentioned. So the great thing about this template is that I pretty much love how everything is laid out, and we're really just going to make some minor adjustments to this. So I'm going to put my logo in up the top here, and we're going to change the image because obviously I'm not a home decor store, I'm a content creator. So let's change this up a little bit. I actually like the font, so I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to actually make up a logo at the moment. So let's just change this to Kaylee June. Actually, I might do this for my Kaylee Journeys account. So this would be my Instagram and TikTok accounts, which are my travel content creation. So let's do that. And I'll just put down here, travel content creator. So you can just kind of move this so it's in the middle. And I might just delete that. Maybe we'll move this up a little bit further. I really do like the layouts of this. I'm gonna just remove a few of those zeros though, because that is wild. I don't think we need that many zeros. Let's just start off with like 4 zeros. And then I'm gonna shift this date to here. And then I'm gonna just copy and paste this and say date due just here. So it's nice and visible. We'll put that in capitals as well. And we'll also maybe choose a different font color at the moment. So maybe even black, just to kind of really make that stand out a little bit more. And then we'll just make these headings a bit smaller. I'll just use those addresses actually as it is because I can't be bothered to make a fake one. But this is basically how I would have the layout. You can just like easily move them over. And then this is the client. And so for example, I'll just delete a few of these. And for the template, or as basically a template for me to use for future timeframes, I would actually just leave this font in here and then just copy and paste or replace the font when it comes time to actually needing to do that. That's just something that would make my life a little bit easier, just making sure I've got the font in there already so I don't have to choose a new one if I go to fill the invoice at any given point. So I just change this now to US dollars. So you can just change this up. And then I would change this to GST because we're in Australia. I'm gonna probably get rid of the shipping. And let's just change these to make sure that they're dollars as well. And then I would just delete these for now. So I'm just going to change this image as well. Let's upload a new one. Maybe I can actually just use one of my other ones. This is actually my desktop image at the moment, actually, so I could use that one, or maybe I could use this one here. Maybe this one might go better because I'm in the image, so that might like work a little bit better. I actually think my face is too big in this one. It's taking up too much of the banner. I can't have that one. Maybe even this one though. Let's upload a couple and we'll see how they look. That one's actually pretty cool. I like how this looks. Though you can't really see, I guess, what the foreground kind of is. It's a little bit hard to tell. There's another one of the back of my head, which doesn't really show much, to be honest. I don't mind this one because it gives a little bit more of an explorer feel, being on the road. So I actually quite like that one. This one might work as well. I actually like this one too. You know what? Let's just stick with this one for now. I kind of like this one, and I might just change the font here to white so it stands out a little bit more. And let's just change the coloring of this a little bit. Then we'll just make a little bit of shadow on the text as well, just to make sure that stands out a little bit more. And I'm just gonna adjust this as well. Just want the coloring to be right on point. Just changing the saturation as well on this part here, just to kind of match the rest of it. Just copy and paste this bit here down the bottom and just say payment details. And we'll just put at PayPal. We'll just move this thank you, I think, to another section. We'll just move that there instead. And I might even just make this a little bit smaller just for where it sits on the image. Okay, and then if you really want to, you can also add some interesting backgrounds if you want something a little bit different. So for example, there's like an autumn section here, so you could probably put like a texture in or something like that if you wanted to. But for now, I think I'm just going to leave it as it was because it's nice and clear and it's easy for any potential clients to actually see what's on the invoice. And that is virtually how easy it is to make an invoice in Picsart. So really all you need to do is grab a base template, put the most important information in and ensure that that information is in there because it is really important and it's important to how you get paid and when. And obviously just adding a little bit of branding in there. So just a color scheme that really suits you, and then maybe even adding a bit of imagery and a logo to kind of complete it. But I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial on how to create a cute branded invoice for your business. And if you'd like me to do more videos like this one and more tutorials with Picsart, definitely let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video today. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, make sure you do because I'll be posting a lot more videos in future. Let me know down in the comment section below if you've created your own branded stationery because I would love to hear. And another quick reminder, if you wanted to go and check out Picsart, there's a link in the description box below. In the meantime, make sure to hit the notification bell to see all the updates in future from this channel. But thank you so much as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.